My name's Emily Spoliar. I am originally from southern Michigan. I just recently moved out here to North Dakota at the beginning of October. I started hunting when I was about 14. I don't come from a hunting family though, so I didn't ever really have anyone to go hunting with. So because of that, I decided to get a sporting dog because I didn't have a person to go hunting with, so I figured the next best thing was, a bird dog. My hunting adventures, I guess, just kind of took off from there. It's easy to get hooked once you get started. As just a recent resident of North Dakota, not knowing anything about hunting out here or where to go or anything like that can be very intimidating. And so the nice thing about coming out here to North Dakota has been having access to thousands and thousands of acres of public land that I just didn't have back home. Not just public land, but high quality public land where I know I can go out and at least see a limit of roosters even if I don't shoot them. And I was a little overwhelmed with moving out here by myself and not knowing anyone. I had an 8-month-old Cocker Spaniel puppy that had been on birds for about a month. And so neither of us really knew what we were doing out here, but we just found some plots land and went out there, and we saw more birds that day on that piece of plots land than I've seen my whole life growing up in Michigan. I mean, that to me, after that, I was hooked. I couldn't wait to go back out, and I felt much more confident about my decision to move out all the way out here to North Dakota from Michigan. So the plots properties are really cool because it is private land that the landowner has agreed with the Game and Fish Department to open up to allow hunting on. I think it's something that's really unique to this area because there's not a lot of places you can go to get that. I mean, I've gone for entire days without running into other people out on these areas of plots land, and so it's just awesome to have that resource and to have landowners that are willing to open up that access to people. I'm personally, I'm just so grateful for programs like that because as a recent resident, I wouldn't have that access otherwise. When I was out with my bird dog, Bridger, and we flushed a couple grouse, and I was able to shoot one as it was flying over a creek. I wasn't sure if he'd make the retrieve or not, just because he doesn't have a lot of experience under his belt yet, but he swam across the creek, went over, grabbed the grouse, and swam it back, and brought it up to me, and it was just the coolest thing. It's just one of those things that when it comes together, it's just picture perfect, and I don't know, it brought me to tears because it was just a super cool experience. But so that's probably been my favorite so far. To be able to have those lands to access, and to have the information available to find out where they're at and where to go, and it's been my favorite part of living out here so far is I can get in my truck and drive a couple miles down the road and hunt all day if I want to and never see another person. It's really cool coming from a state that doesn't have an abundance of public land like we do out here in North Dakota.